off the coast of the Farallon Islands. The first to notice something wrong wasn't human, it was a part of orcas. They were encircling a gray whale. They are the smartest creatures in the ocean, the most unified pack, with perfect hunting coordination. Even great white sharks steer clear of them. They drove the mother and calf into a dead end, the leader speeding up. Just milliseconds before the strike, the sea changed. Without warning, without a sound, in one bite that 8-ton orca, along with its prey, was seized and instantly dragged into the dark deep, the surface of the sea, as if nothing had happened. The apex predator died while still in its hunting posture. It died without ever knowing, when it transformed from a hunter into prey. At that very moment, the water near the islands receded. It wasn't a low tide, but a space-time displacement. The water level dropped 12 meters. A 10,000-ton cargo ship sat exposed on the seabed. Then, a black wall rose on the horizon. The deeper, more ancient sea of the Cretaceous was rushing back, covering the seabed, swallowing the ship and the breakwaters. And this time, the water brought something else with it. On the sonar screen, shadows swarmed toward the shore. The leader, 17 meters long, about the size of a subway car. It's a marsosaur. In the Cretaceous, nothing could challenge it. It was the absolute ruler of that ancient ocean. And now, a whole pack was swimming toward human shores. The first to encounter them was the Coast Guard. On the cargo ship, there were still sailors unable to evacuate. A lifeguard descended from a winch line to the water, swimming towards someone who couldn't grab the life ring. There were 2 people in the sea, one struggling and one approaching. The sea was calm, unnervingly calm. No one knew that beneath them, a 17-meter marsosaur was slowly rising. It wasn't attacking. It's a marine reptile, breathing air just like a whale. It had to surface to breathe, it just wanted air. But a 12-ton animal breaching beneath 2 people. The water split open, and the struggling victim was snatched, instantly dragged into the depths, leaving only a crimson vortex. The lifeguard froze in midair. Just meters away, there was nothing to be done. It had 4 rows of teeth. 2 in front to bite, and 2 in back curved inward, designed to drag prey down, never to let go. Its bite force was many times that of an orca. It could bite straight through a car. The people in the churning water couldn't see a thing. They didn't even know what had grabbed them from below. This is what makes the ocean truly terrifying. With monsters on land, you can see them coming. In the sea, you see nothing. Now for real firepower. The U.S. Navy deployed its flagship, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. The USS John Paul Jones, 9,000 tons, costing over $2 billion. The sharpest blade of modern maritime hegemony. A 127 mm main gun, firing 20 rounds per minute. One shell is enough to shred any flesh. In fact, it did just that. Because the marsosaur had a fatal weakness. It had to breathe, it had to surface periodically, exposing its head for those few seconds. Those brief seconds above water were its only vulnerability, and humanity's only window to fire. The main gun locked on, the 17-meter giant, creating a massive wave of blood. Humans could make it bleed. The one hit by the shell didn't die immediately. Wounded, it struggled to surface one more time. It was still trying to take that one breath. Before sinking, it wasn't a demon. Just a creature thrown into the wrong era, doing what its instincts demanded, only to die under human artillery. 1, 2, 3. But the problem was, each marsosaur had different breathing cycles. No one could predict where the next one would appear. You can only hit the ones that surface to breathe. A marsosaur isn't steel, it's flesh and soft tissue. It absorbs the shark wave along with the water. Furthermore, torpedoes are designed for metal targets. The marsosaur's sonar signature is fuzzy, and it dives suddenly, changing direction. The targeting system couldn't track it. A multi-million-dollar torpedo. In the black water, it couldn't find the perfect spot to strike. The entire modern anti-submarine system, developed over 80 years, it was designed to deal with other human machines. From day one, it was never built to fight living creatures. After a hard night of fighting, the destroyer killed 3 marsosaurs. But on the screen, red darts were still flooding the bay. It wasn't that he couldn't fight them, but that they were endless. If anyone still held onto the hope that the sea could hold its own. The next scene shattered that final illusion. His name was Blue, a celebrity blue whale tracked by marine biologists for 12 years. 29 meters long, weighing nearly 180 tons, the largest animal in Earth's history, larger than any dinosaur. Many said a blue whale wouldn't even glance at a mosasaur, right? He didn't need to look. Blue whales are gentle, peaceful giants. He never attacked anyone, and never needed to defend himself. His size was his defense, but even then, he could not stop the teeth biting from every direction. 8 mosasaurs, an organized predatory ambush, biting his fins and tail, tearing him apart in turns. Like 8 giant saws, cutting through a moving mountain. But Blue hadn't stopped fighting back. Those tail flukes, 7 or 8 meters wide, were among the most powerful weapons on Earth. In blinding, agonizing pain, he used his final strength. With a massive strike, a mosasaur too close was hit head-on. 70 tons of force shattered its spine instantly. That mosasaur never made it back up to breathe. Earth's largest creature, before dying, took down a Cretaceous overlord with him, but he could only take one. The remaining 7 closed in again. He struggled for a long time. The underwater hydrophones recorded his final cries. Low frequency lingering, echoing through the bay. On the shore, the biologist who tracked him for 12 years knelt in the sand, unable to do anything. This scene marked the collapse of the modern marine food chain. The Naval Command Center debated all night. Everyone thought of the fastest solution, a tactical nuclear weapon, wiping out everything in the bay, but the plan was rejected. There were 870 Giro people living downwind of the fold zone. The nuclear blast would kill our own people first. Radiation would spread through currents across the entire Pacific. That ocean is American territory, and our own cities are submerged beneath it. That's not striking the enemy, that's destroying our own land. Another voice suggested just holding on. Ancient creatures can't survive modern conditions, they'll die out soon. Until someone placed the files on Australia on the table. Decades of astronomical spending just to control the rabbit population. The last line of the report read, a population of 200 million, and those were just rabbits. The rift in the ocean hasn't closed. It keeps sending new things through. No one spoke anymore. They finally realized this wasn't a war. Wars have opponents, boundaries, and clear winners. But what they faced was simply a rising tide. At dawn, the destroyer received orders to retreat. It wasn't defeated. It just realized you cannot win a fight against an endless swarm. An uncountable number of creatures cannot be beaten. But before leaving, it fired all its remaining ammunition, aiming at every mosasaur surfacing for air. Even if they couldn't stop them, they had to make them know coming here comes at a price. As for the grounded carrier, the Times heart of the Pacific Times, the rising tide had already swallowed its deck. The mosasaur pack surrounded it, chasing the fleeing crew. Cold, sharp teeth tore through the thin hull plating. Water flooded in through the holes. A 10,000-ton giant sank inch by inch into the dark water. Humans spent 200 years making the ocean their territory. The mosasaurs took it back in just a few hours. But that wasn't the worst news. Just before the withdrawal, the sonar operator stared at the screen, trembling. It wasn't the few dozen on the surface. It was the 300-meter deep sea floor. There was a massive cluster of echoes, hundreds, maybe more. They thought they were fighting a few mosasaurs. They were wrong. Those few were just the scouts coming up for air. The real swarm was still waiting in the deep. It wasn't that we couldn't fight them. We miscounted how many there really were. And right now, a quieter crisis is spreading elsewhere. At dawn, the CDC issued an alert. The workers who first contacted the carcasses fell ill. High fever, violent coughing, followed by vomiting blood. Then, unexplainable lesions appeared on their skin. It looked like some kind of scaly, keratinized growth. This wasn't some resurrected ancient virus. It was the entire ecosystem of the Cretaceous. Microbes, spores, and pathogens poured in along with them. Human immune systems had never seen this. We had no antibodies. The deadliest enemy now isn't in the ocean. It's in everyone's lungs, and it's already spreading. The real disaster has just begun to take root in every survivor. 67 million years ago, an asteroid wiped out the Cretaceous. 67 million years later, Cretaceous viruses are coming to wipe us out.